Today I read a comment that said you shouldn't follow Dr. Hammer's work in German New Medicine because he had some patients that passed away. And, that might sound alarming at first, but when you really start to dig into the details, like it's really not good logic to look at things that way. So Dr. Hammer, he created something called Germanic New Medicine, where it's a different way of looking at how diseases work in the body. And German New Medicine is the philosophies I used to heal my gut. I literally tried everything. I did the boring gluten-free diet, the dairy-free diet. Nothing worked until I started to get the trauma under control and its subconscious PTSD triggers under control, which would stop putting my gut in and out of overdrive. And Dr. Hammer, what he did is he did CT scans of people, and he could see it in the brain. He could look at your CT scan, your brain CT scan, and know exactly which diseases you've had. I'm not great at reading them, but I have seen enough of them, and I've had somebody read mine, and it was like spot on, like spot on. So, and when you just live life and you understand these properties, you see it like every time somebody in your family gets sick, it's always after a traumatic event or a stressful time in their life. It always syncs up perfectly. So let's address the elephant in the room. Did Dr. Hammer have patients that passed away? And the answer is yes. Of course he did. Just like any other doctor. Even the best doctor in the world is going to have a patient that they worked on and they passed away. Well, for a few reasons. One, they were in terrible shape by the time they came to the doctor. And I'll share with some stories of, some of the people that Dr. Hammer worked with. And then who knows what the patient is doing like after you treat that patient. So, uh, you know, I think it was Portugal took him to court because he was treating a bunch of cancer patients that like stage 4 cancer, where they just send you home and they say like, "Hey, here's a good hospice to go to," and he had a 95% success rate with those people. Like 5, 10 years later, 95% of those people were still alive and in relatively good health. And then, okay, you could say, yeah, hundreds of his patients died. Hundreds of his patients died. 90, he had a 90, okay, great, but he had a 95% success rate proven in court. It's funny how language and, context matters. So let me share an example of, one of the cases where one of Dr. Hammer's patients passed away. Um, and this was very heartbreaking for him when this stuff would happen because he did everything in his power. He wanted to help as many people as possible, but in a lot of circumstances it was just impossible. So if you read The Legacy of the New Medicine, there's a case study where I think this woman has all sorts of issues going on, and she's bedridden. Like, she literally can't get out of bed, she's in such bad shape. And the conflict that started the majority of her health problems was a fight with her husband. I don't know, I forget all the exact details, but it was like something like that. And the husband was awful to her, and that was making her condition way worse. And she got put into like hospice or something like that. And Dr. Hammer started to work on her and like showing her how to get better and stuff like that. But like the second, Dr. Hammer left, the husband would come back and yell at her, and her condition would go downhill. And the other doctors and the husband were like, you know what, just give her a bunch of morphine and finish her off. Like, and Dr. Hammer probably had to deal with stuff like that all the time. So, a lot of people, they just don't have the mental resource. Maybe this person would have got better if they learned, German New Medicine before this relationship and her condition got out of hand, and she was in this awful state. Maybe yes, maybe not. Um, German new med like German new medicine is how our body, how disease in our body actually operates. And it allows us to use holistic medicine better and modern medicine better. So, but to say that it's, yeah, I guess you could say German new medicine's dangerous, but so isn't any medicine. Is dangerous if you don't use it correctly. But I have seen insanely great results with German new medicine over and over and over again, um, where just helping the people just find the traumatic event and find their subconscious PTSD triggers. That's what I take people through in my 13-day protocol. I take them through a series of exercises where we help bring up these subconscious traumatic memories that are putting our gut in and out of overdrive.